Welcome back to Growing Out Loud. I am your host, Gurpreet Kaur, and you might hear it in my voice. I am a little bit under the weather, but I'm actually loads better than I was over the last 2 weeks. I've taken 2 weeks off. In fact, I've taken about 4 weeks off, but that's a really good point. That is the life that I've created over the last 9 years, that I can take off time whenever I want, and I can actually take time for me, because what I've realized is that learning to love yourself and show up for yourself isn't a selfish thing. It's a really important and vital thing, especially if you are one of those people like I have been, and that I still am, but just in a very different way, that is always showing up for other people, especially if you are one of those people that puts your self needs behind so that you can show up for other people. What I think you and I need to constantly remind ourselves of is that when we look after ourselves, we get to show up better for the people that we love the most. So actually, it's a disservice not to show up for yourself. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about growth. We're going to be talking about growth throughout this entire podcast. And it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. I want you to understand the process of growth. I want you to know what it takes. So it doesn't matter if you're trying to grow through relationships, or if you're trying to grow your business, or if you're just trying to grow. I'm sharing with you what I've learned over the last 9 years of personal development. And then when I had to apply that whole work again into my journey of being an entrepreneur. And I'm still applying this stuff in this new part of my life. So that's what we're about here. And that's what I constantly want to talk to you about. So today I want to talk to you about a few things that I think stop people from stepping out and going after their goals and their dreams. I think, and we're going to talk about those things, whether I'm never going to be able to mention them all in one podcast, but we are going to scratch the surface and we are going to dive in deeper the longer we go on. So I want to talk about the kind of things that might pop up that mean that we hold ourselves back, because I have done that. I have done that for a really long time. I had done that. And the work has been in shifting my mindset and my emotional awareness that allows me to move towards my goals in a bigger and broader and bolder way. But we all have to start somewhere, and that's what I want this podcast to be about. I want it to be somewhere where you can hit reset no matter where you are upon your journey. You can hit reset and you can go again. And you can understand that growth is not a linear process. Growth is very much an up and down process. And you're going to go back a few times. And it's almost like you're going back to relearn and remember and remind yourself of what it is that you're learning. It's like an embedding process. So what some people would deem as failure is actually you just growing through a process. This is learning. You didn't come out of the womb knowing your name. You didn't come out of the womb knowing how to walk. You learned your way to do all of these things. And it didn't matter how many times you headbutt the floor as a youngster. Growing up, trying to learn to walk, you still got up. And so it's not a failure. We fail our way to success. So the idea that growth has to look a certain way outside of it being a process of learning and ups and downs and some backward steps, that the idea that that's not how growth should look is what's holding us back, is what stops us from taking those actionable steps, is what stops us from going after our dreams. We got to stop thinking we've got to have it all right here, right now, and actually allow the divine process to take a hold. We have to let the divine do its thing. And so in order to connect with the divine, you actually have to have an intention of what it is you want and where it is you want to go. So no matter what it is that you're doing, whether you've had to take 4 weeks off like I have, you allow yourself to say, but I'm still going in that direction. I know where I want to go in life. And over time, you begin to edit out what works and edit out what doesn't work and edit in what does work. You get to choose as time goes on. So the next thing that growth requires is faith. And then faith leads to more persistence to do the thing that you need to get done. And that leads to more faith, because the more you persist in moving towards where it is that you want to go, the more faith you develop. And so it becomes like this loop of faith and persistence and faith and persistence. But it gets bigger and bigger because you're moving towards where it is that you want to go. I think we've been taught to wait on the outside world to kind of hand us something that tells us that we're okay to go after the thing. But actually it works kind of with you doing the work first and then the universe responding, because that's how it works. It mirrors us. It mirrors who we think we are and what we think we can do and what we wind up doing on autopilot. Like, we live a lot of our life, 95% of our life, on autopilot. And so we don't even step out of the box that we're in because we don't know that there's a box to step out of. But when we choose growth, we're stepping out of the box. We're doing something different. And that requires faith and that requires persistence, because it's not comfortable choosing growth. It's not comfortable choosing something different. Actually, it's quite unnerving. And so you've got to have faith to persist, but you've got to keep persisting in order to build the faith. You've got to look at what works and what doesn't. Is your current model of life working for you? Your current model of showing up for yourself, is that working for you? Because I know it wasn't working for me. I was going to sleep watching TV. I was waking up watching TV. I was eating cake for breakfast. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not the most nourishing thing for your mind, first thing. It's not the healthiest thing to eat if you are looking to have a boost of intuitive and creative energy, because it's very sluggish food. There's zero judgment. Do it every now and again, but don't do it on the regular. I was doing it on the regular. And so that wasn't working for me. Going to sleep really late wasn't working for me. Waking up and checking my phone wasn't working for me. So one of the quickest ways you're going to change your life is by shifting what you do morning and evening. When you go to sleep, do you go to sleep thinking about your day's issues and problems? Or do you go to sleep having done some gratitude? Or do you go to sleep definitely having done some gratitude, but do you go to sleep thinking about where it is that you want to go? Or do you go to sleep and fall asleep to the movie in your mind of all the things that are wrong? Because if you're doing the latter, that is what you're going to wake up feeling, and you're going to feel it more magnified because your conscious mind has gone to sleep. And so your subconscious mind is wide open and it's just running this thing on loop for you because it thinks that's what you want. So we have to take control. That's what I mean by autopilot. We need to step out of the patterns that we've created, because our minds and brains are designed to work on patterns. We have to choose a new pattern. So my new pattern was to go to sleep at a reasonable hour, wake up at a reasonable hour, not check my phone first thing, do gratitude first thing, and then I would grab a book. I have a book everywhere. I've got a book here open on my desk. I have books in my bedroom. I have cards. I have something that's going to fill me with a new idea at any given moment, specifically morning, specifically evening. Specifically because I know the brain waves that I'm about to enter and what I've woken up into and what I need to do to magnify and completely utilize and leverage those times, because we can make it easier for ourselves. These practices, when you talk about morning routines and evening routines, and people can make it really complicated. Here's why we're doing it. Why we have a morning and evening routine, because your brain is about to hit certain brain waves in the evening, and you want to prime those brain waves and that pattern that you're about to enter into. And when you wake up in the morning, you're already in those brain waves that you went to sleep creating. So you wake up and you shift into magnifying that time, leveraging that time, connecting with yourself, connecting with source, and moving towards a higher place that exists within you. These are the practices that make the difference. So doing a morning and evening routine isn't some la-di-da thing. These are make or break things. So my old strategy wasn't working. They're the things that I brought into my world. I've brought in movement into my day every single day. Every single day. I have been on this kick. I have been on this kick after somebody who hated exercise. I had body dysmorphia for years. I love exercise. Oh my God. It is game changing. It is the thing that I looked forward to the most. It's the thing that I did first thing today after 4 weeks, because I was unwell for 2 and I was traveling for 2. I worked out this morning and it was so good. I've got a glow. I've still got a glow, and that is from my workout. Unreal what it does for your mind. So I started to go out for walks first thing. You don't have to, there's so many apps, 7-minute workouts. 7-minute workouts. That's where I started. I got up and I started to walk. Then we got a dog and I started to walk the dog. And then I started to do 7-minute workout. And then that 7-minute workout turned into 15 minutes. That 5-minute walk turned into 15 minutes, and it turned into an hour and an hour and a half. And it is amazing. This is what I mean by you don't have to go out there to feel the thing that you want to feel. You can actually cultivate that place within you right here, right now. Choose something. I could get it. It's not practical for me to do it while I'm on a podcast. But if I got up and I did 10 squats, I would feel amazing. I did this morning. I felt amazing. And so growth is about learning to love the process, not to rush the process. In the rushing of the process, you miss where you are and what you're cultivating. This is joyful. You have this place within you. You get to create this change. So what in your model isn't working, and what in your model can you create? Your model of reality. You have this story going on. And honestly, when you understand more about what we talk about what you're filtering in and out of your brain and what you're actually in control of, you'll stop trying to control other people and control yourself. You'll stop trying to look for the next strategy. You will focus on you. You are the strategy. You are the strategy. You are the one who does the being, the doing, and the having. It's you. Everything is you. Your experience of life is you. Why am I sharing this with you with such passion? I've just come back. Like I said, I took 4 weeks off. So I went to England for 2 weeks. I was invited and paid to speak an event. Who 9 years ago was having a nervous breakdown. I was determined I was going to study my way through it, but I didn't know that this was available to me. So back then I started to dream about where I am right now. People pay me to speak. People pay me to work in their communities. Oh my God, it blows my mind. It really, really does. And you think, wait, no, hold on. There was nowhere I had to go for this. This place was available to me all the time. It came to me in divine timing, but it's available to me all the time. So what might you be overlooking because you believe that it's not possible for you? Because please let me tell you, this time, on this side of the 9 years of the work that I've done on myself, my gosh, anything is available to you. Do you know why I know anything is available to you? Because God is available all the time. God is omnipresent. So God is a thought away and a feeling away and an action away from you. God is not out there. God is all of this. But then If God is omnipresent, then doesn't that mean that God is within you and God is you? So you can choose a new story at any time. You can choose a new way of being at any time. But you got to put in the work to get there. You got to do the work to get there. We will do our best. The people that have done the work, the people that are on this journey, the people that are hell-bent on making sure that you know, we will support you the best we can. The only thing we can't do is do the work for you. We can't make the time to focus our attention for you. We can do it for ourselves. And we can pray for you, can pray that you have that. And I do pray for my people. I pray for us all. In fact, I come from a faith of Guru Nanak, Sikhi, and we're taught Sarbat Da Pala. We want the best, the highest, the greatest for all of humanity, all of the beings, animals, plants, insects, beings, humans, dogs. Like, you have so much available to you. It's waiting for you. It doesn't matter where you are. Is it the bank balance? My God, this year, let me tell you, I have been working on my money story this year. So my money story is something that came up at the beginning of my journey. But I received a download that this is what I was going to be working through, and that's fine. And I've been doing it. So this year, and all this healing work, oh my God, I need you to get this. Your bank balance is connected to your emotional self. The more emotionally aware you are, the more emotionally stable and safe you feel, the more abundant your bank balance will be. But it doesn't start with your bank balance, it starts with you. So this year I've been working on how I felt around money and because there's nothing like the business that has taught me to grow and heal even further. When I had to implement this because I wanted self-autonomy, I wanted self-actualization. And so the business has taught me that, it really has. So this year I wanted to work on my money story, and I have been. And it's just flowing in now from different places. And so this work is so powerful. Don't limit yourself to an old idea of yourself. Don't limit yourself in thinking, oh God, it needs to happen right now, or it needs to happen within a week. Definitely set yourself some parameters that you want to work towards, but don't get attached to those parameters, because where I am today, I thought I'd be here 4 years ago, and I am now. But there were so many times along the way I thought, oh God, maybe it's not for me. But I had faith and I persisted and I kept going, and it is happening. And I've worked with so many amazing people in so many amazing communities, and I think, how did that happen? It happened because I just kept going. So it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. Keep moving forward with intention, with love, and with a vision of where you want to go. Because I had that vision of me back then. I imagined myself talking to people and sharing with people what I knew. And that's what I've been doing. I'm just doing it on a bigger and bigger scale. So what are you capable of? What is it that you want in your life? Go out there and get it. Go out there and go get it. It wants you too. The thing you seek is seeking you. So I pray that this served you in some way. I hope it did. I'm sending it with so much love. And I just wish you continued elevation, continued growth. And may you continually know what you're capable of. You are magnificent. And it's just time for you to remember that. I wish you peace and blessings in all things, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.